Hello, I'm finally getting to do my glitter tattoo tutorial. There are a lot of other ones on YouTube that I watched before I started, but I thought I would do one because I have a lot of like tips and tricks and places to buy stuff that was not mentioned in the ones that I watched before I started. So here we go. What do you need? First up, you need the equipment. You need stencils. You can make your own if you have a Cricut. They're really easy to make, and I do have a tutorial on how to make them if you watched my other video. You can buy them, almost any face paint shop sells them, and you can buy them on places like AliExpress and Temu. If you're looking at the ones on there, they might say they're reusable, but they're not. These are one use only, okay? Not reusable. So glitter tattoo stencils they're called 3 layers. If you're looking at the stencils on places like Temu and AliExpress, they're usually also only 2 layers, so they're a bit harder to use. So they're not expensive, these things. Just spend a little bit more and make your life a lot easier, because you're probably going to be doing a lot, so just make it easier and build in the little bit of extra cost into the price that you charge. Next up, you'll need cosmetic grade glitter. Cosmetic grade glitter. That's not craft glitter. You can't go to any old shop and buy craft glitter. It has to be cosmetic grade. Also, I love shopping on the cheap websites, but a lot of glitter on places like AliExpress, Shein, Temu, they say cosmetic grade, but there's no guarantee it is, and it probably isn't. You might think when you're buying glitter it's expensive, but it does go a surprisingly long way. So don't risk the health of your client by buying craft glitter to save a bit of money. Cosmetic grade glitter, again, most face paint shops will sell this, and it does go a long way further than you think. A lot of people use little squirty bottles with a little nozzle and they will puff it on. I tried them, I don't like them. I think it's personal preference. Some people like the strips, like the little tubs in a strip with little things that pop up. I had them, and my thumb was killing me after an hour just trying to pop the lids up. The squirty bottles I just didn't like. I like this setup. I actually got this setup from Kmart. It comes with a tray, there is a lid, but I don't keep it on there, and these little pots, and I just screw and unscrew. It's the best setup that I like, but I think that's personal preference. You'll need some brushes. Just any old cheapo eyeshadow brush. If it's fluffy, it's a bit better. It picks up glitter better if you get like a fluffy one. Glue. You'll need glue, cosmetic grade glue. A lot of people use one called Prosaid, which is really popular and easy to find. I used Prosaid when I started, and again you'll find Prosaid and any other like body glue and in face paint shops online. I use this one by Global. It's an Australian brand. It's sold on the Global website, and it's just as good as Prosaid. I find a lot of people on glitter tattoo Facebook groups mention one called Pink Glue and other ones, but I've never seen them in Australia, so the pink stuff is supposed to be good, but I use this one. And what I do also is I have a lot of these, and I sell these on Etsy. They've got a little brush. So what I do is I get these, squirt it into there, and it's like a wind up thing. It is one use and then you throw it out, but they're pretty inexpensive, and it goes again further than you think. So what else? So I did think after I finished filming what happens if you don't have that brush thing that I have to put the glue on. So some glues have their own like applicator. So the pink stuff that people use, it's like a little nail polish bottle, and it has a little brush in there. The Prosaid that I first used, it has a thing called a doe foot. So it looks like a lip gloss thing, and it's like a little squishy like applicator. I didn't like the doe foot thing because you have to, like, to do one stencil, you have to dip it in there like 3 or 4 times to get a coverage, and I just found that really time consuming when you're trying to go fast. And also the top of the bottle gets gummed up from like the glue squishing in and out, and it dries and gets gummy and you have to clean it and it's just a pain. So before I had the little brushy things that I use, I used to buy this, just put a little dob in the center, and I had these, they're actually called glue spreaders. I bought them at like the dollar shop in town, and you could like spread it around on the stencil. It's not ideal, but it did work, so you can do that if you don't have glue that has its own applicator and you buy the big bottle like that. So that was the other option. You need alcohol to clean the skin. Isopropyl is what I use. You might know it as, what's it called? Isocol in a green bottle at Woolies and Coles. You can buy that if you want, but the cheapest way I found is Bunnings. Bunnings sells it in like 1 litre bottles, so you can buy it at Bunnings. And this is a little pump I got at Kmart again. It's got a little dispenser on top, and my parrot is being noisy in the background, so if you can hear my parrot, yeah, sorry about that. And you'll need something to clean the skin with. Alcohol, I use these makeup cotton pads. Again, it's the cheapest, easiest way I've found. A lot of people use like the little single packets of alcohol swabs, which you can use. To me, I think that is not easy for me to get. I'd have to get it online, whereas I can get these like at any old shop. I don't know how they work out for cost, but I don't know how it would be cheaper than just using these. What else? You'll need a brush. I have a brush. I got this one on Shein. All the kids love it. I use that to dust off the excess glitter before I do the reveal. You can use just like a blush brush. A lot of face paint shops will sell like the dusting brushes, especially for glitter tattoos. And it's not needed. Just get an old cheapo blush brush from Kmart or something. Also, I did invest in one of these. They're like, I don't know, $3 on Shein, because I do a lot of outdoor events and I was just sick of like fanning a kid's arm waiting for the glue to dry. I just got these, a little electric fan, and I can just hold it on the kid's arm while I do other stuff like getting the glitters ready and stuff, and it makes the drying time a lot quicker. So about $3 to $5 I think, and it'll make your life easier, but you don't need it. So placement. I want to talk about placement for tattoos, because I think parents often go for the glitter tattoos over face paint because it lasts longer. So I tell people that my glitter tattoos last for about 3 to 5 days. Some people find they last longer, but it will vary a lot depending on your skin type and also placement. So a lot of little kids, when you ask them, where do you want it? They'll say, here. And I'll say to the parent, it'll last a lot longer if you just put it here and not here, because like with hand washing and stuff. So can we just put it there? And 99, I think 100%. I don't think I've ever had a kid say, yeah, they want it there. I think they just say there because that's where they get stamps, like from, like for being good, that's where they get stamps. But I always recommend to put glitter tattoos there. Some kids will want it there. I find that when they ask for it there, it's usually because they go to a private school and they're trying to hide it, because they're not allowed tattoos at private schools in Australia. So they want it like under sleeve length. And I say, that's fine, we can do that. It does last a little bit less because of, you know, your sleeve rubbing on it, but that's fine. And parents and kids don't care about that. That's usually why kids want it there. Sometimes not, sometimes they just want it there, and that's fine. I find a lot of older kids, like tweens, teenagers, and even adults, ask for it there, like on the inner forearm, because that's just like more of a cooler place to have it. And again, I will say, yep, that's fine, we can put it there, but it does last longer if we put it there, just because when you're walking, you don't realize how much you brush it. Like, and I've tested on myself, it does last longer if we put it there. And 50-50, I'd say 50% of people still want it there, and some will say, okay, we'll just put it there. I have had some people ask for his face, and I say no. Like, even if it's a consenting adult, I just say no, because what if a kid comes along, they've seen an adult go with a glitter tattoo on their face, and then you have to try to explain, like, no, we can't put it on your face. And just like the sensation of having glitter on your face, I just don't think it would work. Like, I think it's just no glitter tattoos on faces, sorry. What else? I have done them on like here. Some kids wanted one there, especially I've done like little kids when they want it there. That's fine. It's basically any skin, not your face. So that is my tips on placement. So now I might just angle the camera down and I will do a glitter tattoo on myself, and you can see my technique and I will run you through it. So first up, we need to clean the skin. So I just do one pump and that's enough. If people ask, it's just to clean off any oils and make it last longer. Also, if anybody has sunscreen on, you need to take the sunscreen off, otherwise they won't last that long. So this is what I talk about, a 3-part. It's got a clear on the top and then the backing. So you take the white backing off and then you put it on like that. Then take the clear top off. You need this glue. So with these pens, I find it really easy. You give it a twist and it will start letting glue out. So with the glue, you want a thin layer, just a really thin layer like that, so you can hardly see it. And before you put the glitter on, you need to dry it. It needs to go clear. So one time I was waiting at a market to get my first customer, and I started to do a glitter tattoo on myself. And what happened was, as soon as I did the glue, somebody came along, of course. And then I had a run of customers. So it wasn't for like half an hour until I got back to do the glitter. And that actually was probably the longest lasting glitter tattoo I've had. So there is no risk of like over drying this glue. It's like eyelash glue, I explained. It's got to be tacky. You got to dry it out a bit for it to work. So then you get your glitter. What colours should I do? Blue, pink, green, gold. Yeah, they look nice. Might do, oh no, I'll do that, like that. Glitter and plastic sort of gets a static effect, so I do a tappy tap on the lid. So get the brush, pick it up, put it on. You know what? I'm going to go this one so it stands out a bit more. And so you see people worry about the brushes getting gummed up. If you wait for the glue to be dried properly, it really minimizes the brushes getting gummed up. So you just do that. So I'll use the same brush on multiple colours. You just give it a tap. Yeah. And then we press in the glitter just to make sure it's all, you know, pressed into the glue. You can see I've had some, you know, wastage there, but like I said, It really does go a lot further than you think. And then we go to the kid. Are you ready to see it? Oh wow, do you love it? And they go, yay! And then they get out of your chair and it's a million smiles. Look how good that looks. So I did talk then about your brushes getting gummed up. And if you wait for the glue to dry and go, well, it doesn't dry, but it goes clear, it minimises your brushes getting gummed up. So you can see I've just used that one, I haven't cleaned it at all. But I do have two here that I was using yesterday and the vent, and you can see they're pretty well covered. So how I clean them is just with the same stuff I use, and I'll just do a little squeeze and rub and then a flick, and then I'll get most of that off like that. My daughter's sneaking in the background. And then a little squeeze and rub, and that'll pretty much clean that off. I have had a couple of people, one was actually studying cosmetology or like makeup artistry or something, like the sanitary side of doing glitter tattoos, because you use the same brush on each person. And how was that? And you do explain, like, well, you clean the skin before you do anything, so it really isn't, it shouldn't be unhygienic to use the same brushes over and over again because you have cleaned the skin. And the people who ask about these being reusable and how to clean them, so they're not reusable because they are sticky, and even though you clean your skin before you apply it, they do have like skin cells and stuff that they take off when you peel it. So it's not hygienic to use these again because of that, issue. So I did just think of two things that might happen. This turned out really crisp and really nice. Sometimes I think with kids, different skin types, the sticker doesn't stick to them super well. Maybe even though you've cleaned the skin, they might have some sunscreen or something on. Sometimes kids' arms are so little and skinny, it's not a flat area and it's hard to get a good flush stick with the sticker. So glue will get under the edge, and when you peel it off there's a bit of white glue left there. So I just say to the kid and the parent, that's just a bit of glue, it'll dry in a couple of minutes, and everybody's been fine with that I've ever said that to. Also, there's nothing sticking to my skin now, but a lot of the times if you're doing it outdoors in a hot market, you'll find that you do get a lot of glitter sticking maybe above and below the skin. Not a lot, but like a fine sprinkling, and I'll just say that's just sweat, and it'll come off in the shower tonight, or it'll come off soon. And I've never had a parent, argue about that. I have seen people ask about that in the Facebook group, about how to clean that off. If you want to clean it off, if it bugs you, if it bugs the parent, you can just get a wipe with some alcohol and clean it. But honestly, I've never had somebody complain about that or look twice at it, because parents have kids and they know that stuff happens. So that's the only thing I thought of as well. You might have those two things happen. And that is my glitter tattoo tutorial. I hope you got a few tips and tricks on what to do, what not to do, and questions that I see people ask in Facebook groups about different things. So give it a like, and I see you later. Bye.